All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everyone can hear me fine and you can see my screen, I hope. Yeah, I'll get started in about 2 or 3 minutes here. I know I stated that I'll be on at noon today, so it came on a couple minutes early to discuss, what exactly people are doing and how's your day going, where are people from. I like to get to know my audience before I actually get started. And if you guys are in the US or in different countries, how has coronavirus affected you? How has your life changed? Are you seeing things in the market or your 401ks or your retirement funds change? All these questions I'm just curious about. So what's going on, June ID? What's up, Matthew? How's it going? What's up, Carl Sargent? How you doing, man? But yeah, let me know where you guys are from. How's life wherever you are? How are your investments going? When did you start trading and investing? When did you start getting into crypto? I just want to know a little bit about my audience. All right. Oh yeah, India, what's going on? And when did you guys start trading crypto or investing in the stock market? I'm just curious. I'll get started in a little bit here. I'm just looking at the stock market as well. Steve Shen, he's from Ireland. Hey, what's going on? Never been to Ireland, but I do want to go. I've heard it's beautiful. I've heard it's beautiful. I've heard the people are nice, and you guys got amazing beer and whiskey. I mean, what's not to like? you know. So you started in 2017, I see. Okay. So pretty much in the hype of the bull run, like a lot of people, I think. Started trading in 2019. Okay, but right now I really like to get to know how to trade properly. Yeah, for sure. We can talk about that. Cuba Cindy Moon. I started crypto in December 2017. Hey, that's all right. Sometimes you got to learn your lesson by buying the top. I think a lot of people did that, to be honest. And so I wouldn't feel like you're the only person in the world that did that. I'm sure you know very well that there were millions of people probably from around the world who started getting into crypto. And I think it was a harsh lesson for everyone to come in and take that as a blow to their trading or investments, because when you look at 2017, you know it really didn't take a whole lot of understanding in terms of trading or technicals or anything. You just had to buy and watch your thing go up in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? I'm sorry, where was 2017? Way the heck back here. So this didn't really take a whole lot of skill. This is what happens when Bitcoin or assets or bubbles are being formed, and anything and everything you buy within the bubble is ultimately going to go up, because it comes down to the greater fool theory, which is that tomorrow, someday, someone will want to pay more for your asset than you did, and so on and so forth. So it's a very interesting phenomenon that happened in Bitcoin, but it's not a phenomenon that we haven't seen anywhere else. And so the fascinating thing about that is people think that, okay, well, I learned my lesson in crypto or whatever by buying the top, but remember that these lessons are going to happen over and over again. Next time, hopefully you learn your lesson by not getting too greedy and taking profit whenever you can, and not thinking that we're going to go up tomorrow or the next month or the next year. And so this way you don't hold on and realize your loss is 20%, 40%, 80%, right? Because some of these altcoins, I mean, they're absolute garbage, right? Some of the altcoins are down, still 70, 80, 90% or more. And I've talked about this before, where I still believe that there's going to be a mass capitulation that will probably happen in Bitcoin, whether it's in the next few months or the next year or two. And that will probably wipe out all these bad, shitty companies. And whenever that happens, then we can start talking about maybe the crypto space actually garnering some momentum and then, still rising and pushing up. But never mind that, right? We could discuss that in a little bit. What I wanted to discuss with you guys today is, it's Friday, 12 p.m., May 29th, and currently the price of Bitcoin are at 94.28. I wanted to discuss the smaller and larger timeframes of what's happening in Bitcoin specifically, what's happening in crypto. And then if you guys have questions about the stock market, in about 2 or 3 hours, Faisal, who's our equities analyst right here, him and myself will be going live again in about 3 hours to discuss what's happening specifically in the stock market. So make sure you guys come join for that session as well. All right. But for now, going down to crypto, okay, specifically BTC, the one thing that we need to talk about, okay, is that we saw this big run up to the upside all the way to about 9,600. Okay, so I'm going to discuss this a little bit. And I'm going to pull up the EXO charts as well, which is your footprint data platform. And what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the 4 hour. I'm going to turn on this rect calculator and then let's go back to the chart. All right, so if we look at the 15-minute chart, okay, the one thing that we've noticed, or actually let's go to 30-minute. The one thing that I've talked about yesterday was that this area, which was previous supply, right? This area of consolidation was previous supply before the big drop down, right? And then we had, let me see here. And then we had a move back towards that resistance, dump. And then we again came towards that as resistance, and then we pushed up, okay? So this is all positive signs in a sense that we actually broke up above this key area of consolidation. And we call these order blocks, or in this particular case, it's a block of previous supply, okay? And the reason that's important is because when you look at previous consolidation periods, all right, over here, what you need to pay attention to is, well, how does price react from here down once we broke down? How does price react when we come back into that block? And if we get sent down lower, that means this is clearly a supply block where we got rejected very strongly, right? So you could call it an order block or a supply block or a period of consolidation. It doesn't matter. There's so many different names for it. I just refer to it as, a block of consolidation, or you could call it order block. But point is, we broke up above that, right? So this up here, staying above this area and retesting this area of consolidation, the previous consolidation, which was, remember, previous resistance, and now it's flipped into support. So if this is support and it holds, we might push up to 9,600 or maybe even higher. But here's the caveat to that. We had a good amount of supply coming in even up here. Okay, so look at the volume spikes right around that area as price came back returning from that $9,600 marker. This tells me that, again, supply is still strong. People are selling. Buyers are not stepping up and thinking that, all right, we're going to absorb every bit of supply and keep driving the price up. If that was the case, you'd see, higher lows and higher highs consistently and continuously. But that's not the case, especially if you look at it from a larger time frame perspective. What you see right now is an area of consolidation over here where we moved sideways and then we got rejected hard. Okay, see this area right here of consolidation, we got rejected from it pretty hard. That means that supply right here was in control and we dumped from it pretty hard. So as long as we don't come back up towards the area and start breaching it kind of like that, that means supply is still probably in control in this particular area. And the one indicator, or I guess an overlay that I use, is called fixed range. So all I do is in this area of fixed range is you could go over here in the indicators and you type in fixed. Actually, I don't know, I have it as my favorite. So just type in fixed range. And what you do is you measure the volume and point of control that has taken place within a specific fixed range. That's why it's called fixed range, right? It's basically a volume profile visible range indicator, but only defining it for this specific range. Okay, because we can do VPVR, over here on the right side as well. And that gives you everything in terms of visibility of high volume movements in a specific, or not a specific, but rather in the entire chart that's visible. But over here, okay, it's only visible for this particular range. And so why is that important? Well, it's important because we get to understand that when we were moving sideways in this area and we got rejected hard, this is where a lot of the volume took place. And so that means that the bigger players are moving in and out of this particular area. Okay, so majority of their movements of buying or selling was probably in this area right here. So that means that if price comes back towards that same area and gets rejected again, that means the bears are still in control, and that means we're probably going to go down lower. If we kind of push up and break above this area, then that means that the bears are not in control and that the bulls are in control. Why are these things like VPVR or fixed range important? Well, let's zoom out for that, okay? So when you zoom out, you get to look at a chart from the perspective of the VPVR, and you understand that in a particular visibility of the chart, you see a lot of the volume transacted in a specific area. Now, you or I trade with, let's just say a couple $100,000, maybe $1 million or $2 million, for the bigger boys. But there are other players in the market who have, bots and algos who need to transact with 10 million, 50 million, or 100 million. And they need to transact where a lot of other people are transacting, because then they can have their orders be a little bit more subtle and hidden. And so this is why you see this kind of high volume node right here stretching out way at the bottom, because a lot of the price, a lot of the time the price spent over down here. So the more time the price spends in a specific area, as well as the volume right here, helps us understand where the bigger players are getting in and out of. So in this specific instance, you can make the argument that, okay, well, price right now is above the high volume node. Remember, this is the high volume node. So for now, price is technically bullish as per this visibility of the chart. If price starts breaking below this area like that, that means price is going to be aggressively bearish, because the bulls who are defending this area, defending this particular area right here, are going to be underwater once price reaches down here. So that's not the case right now. However, what is the case right now is this big triangle that's forming. However, you're probably looking at this as a triangle that's forming and thinking that, okay, well, this thing looks like a big pennant. Why shouldn't this thing break up? Well, it's not really a pennant. So you're probably looking at this kind of like this, right? And this, deleting that line, you're probably thinking, okay, well, this looks like a big consolidation period of a triangle, where this could mean that, this is a B, C, D, E, and then we're going to just blast up from here. See, if that was the case, right, we shouldn't have been seeing, again, volume at the tops over here, over here, over here. And on top of that, I've stated before, if you look at the open interest data as well as the non-commercial data and non-reportables, and by the way, today's Friday, so that means new data from the Wednesday report, or I'm sorry, the Tuesday report is now in the CME COT data. If you're not familiar with the COT data, this is Commitment of Traders Report. That stands for, other funds or other people who are trading on the CME Futures Index and showing you what kind of positions that they have in the market. Okay, so non-reportables, again, like I mentioned, these are your, professionals, maybe some, high net worth individuals, But again, these are not your real movers of the market or the big money. These are your big money. Non-commercials are your hedge funds and your institutions. These guys make the market move. These guys follow along and, are maybe able to somewhat actually, have some impact on the market. But in large part, these people, hedge funds and institutions, drive the market and make the market move. So this line down here, okay, shows us that hedge funds and institutions are more net short. And even again, today's report shows more open interest climbing. Non-reportable is again going up, yet more hedge funds and institutions are more net short or have more short exposure. So that means that there are bigger players and bigger funds in the market that are going more short. So the question is, who do you want to follow, right? So I've talked about that quite a bit before. Now people talk about, what about Grayscale and they're buying all this Bitcoin up and shouldn't the price keep going up? No, it's not that simple, okay? Just because GBTC, which is, the Grayscale ETF, so let's check out GBTC. So just because GBTC is buying right now, all right, or they're consuming a lot of the supply that's out there, doesn't mean that they're going to drive up the price. Remember, there's still a lot of supply on the market typically. It also doesn't mean that GBTC wants to drive up the price straight up from here. They may be using their pressure and their experience in the market to maybe even further drive down the price, collect more asset from the average retailer, okay? And then over the next year or 2 years, whenever, then start driving the price up. This way they can collect more of the asset itself, right? So why wouldn't they do that with the expertise and the money and the Bitcoin that they have to drive down the price versus over here simply thinking that, okay, well, GBTC has collected all this Bitcoin. Why don't we just go straight up from here? So here's the thing, right? GBTC buying all this Bitcoin, first of all, doesn't mean they're going out on exchanges and they're literally market buying. They may be collecting almost in a hidden passive manner, okay, all through OTC desks. All right. Now, OTC desks typically don't have an impact on price because they're OTC. It's like, me selling you Bitcoin from a wallet to another wallet, right? Doesn't make a whole lot of difference in the exchange price. The price on the exchanges is derived from the market participants that are on the exchanges. It has nothing to do with GBTC buying all this Bitcoin. So if people on the exchanges themselves do not deem the value of Bitcoin being so high, then GBTC's price will also go down. Because remember, the market is actually significantly bigger than just Grayscale. There are a lot of other market participants in and around the crypto space, in and around Bitcoin, that can dictate the price moving up or down. One being the CME futures traders. These people, more often than not, are big professionals. They know exactly how to move a market and to understand when a market is overvalued, when a market should be shorted, when a market should be longed, etc. And like I've said before, if you simply look at this data that's coming on, again, this is new data that just came out today, open interest went up, yet price is still inching down, okay? Non-commercials are increasing their short exposure. Non-reportables, which is again, individual investors, are increasing their long exposure. Even if you go on different exchanges, right, there are so many net long positions, so many people who are bullish on the crypto market or Bitcoin, it is just baffling to me. So the one thing that I'm looking at right now is how is Bitcoin going to look according to what's happening in the equity markets, what's happening around the world. The United States may be having a little scuffle with China, right? There might be more issues with, Trump and social media. There might be more issues in the equity markets. There might be more issues in the bond markets. economic data is still coming out as very negative and dark and bleak. So not all things are, hunky-dory and rosy. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into impacting the price of Bitcoin than just literally looking and thinking that, all right, Grayscale is buying, so we have to go up from here. Okay, so Grayscale to me does not dictate what Bitcoin could be doing. Remember, their expertise in this market could very well be that, they want to pressure the market further down, especially maybe, even CME showing that they are more net short over here, as I showed before. Why wouldn't they pressure the market down further? Drive the market down towards, these lows again, like we had in March, or maybe even lower lows. It's very possible, right? So these are the things that you want to pay attention to. And again, folks, if you're just joining right now, welcome. Let me know where you guys are from. We have a 50% discount off, by the way, 50% discount off on our membership. So typically our membership runs for $100. So for new members, we're saying that if you want to join, you can see again, go to the products page right here. Currently it's 97, but if you join the Discord link below, and you could just message me right here. All right, we're gonna make sure that you get the 50% discount off for new members, and that's $50 to try out our membership for 1 month. And so you can see the amount of information, the analysis that we put out every single day. Every single day we have, these live sessions that you see with our Advantage members. Every single day we have trade setups. Every single day we have market analysis. Every single day we let people know exactly how we're trading the market. Okay, so hopefully you guys come join, give our membership a shot, 50% off, inquire or join the Discord link below. And then again, just shoot me a message when you join. You could pay with Bitcoin, you could pay with crypto, or you could pay with PayPal. All right, it's only a one-time payment. It's not going to be recurring. All right, so going back to the analysis, right? So we see one good thing, which is that, again, price broke up outside this descending parallel channel, right through it, but then retested this area of support. So chances are we could, again, maybe push up a little bit higher. But remember, like I just showed you earlier, if you look at this fixed range area right here, the bears controlled this because they sent the price down. So that means we could even reach up towards this area, which is around 95.13 or so, right? And if we get rejected from there, so say we get rejected from this area, more than likely, we're probably going to get sent down to 9100s. And I'll show you guys exactly why 9100s, because let's turn on the pivots here. All right. If you're not familiar with pivots, this is an indicator, or I guess it's an overlay that you could put on the charts to show you exactly how to look at support and resistance levels, based on the specific time frame that you're watching. So the pivot right now for the 1 hour is right around 91.18. So if we get rejected at 95.13, more than likely we're probably going to get sent down to about 91.18 or so. Okay, so keep an eye out for that $9,500 rejection right around this particular area right here. And if that works out, chances are you could get maybe a rejection towards that $9,100 area. Now, here's another thing. If you simply look at the 15-minute pivot, which again, your 15-minute pivot is nothing but your internal daily pivot. These pivots pretty much change on a day-to-day basis. But on the 15-minute pivot, you could see price is getting rejected exactly right at that pivot right there, right around 94.40. So if we get rejected there and we can't climb up here, more than likely we're going to go down to S1, which is about 92.48. Now, our community has been short pretty much the entire month. I've stated over and over again that I've been short. I've been adding to my short, and I really don't see why Bitcoin would be going up from here. Now, again, I'm happy to be proven wrong if price accelerates past at least 97, 9800 and then breaks above 10,000, but I just don't see that as the case. Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys another way of looking at the price in terms of fractals, okay? First fractal I've showed you guys before is if you look at price action right here, way back from January right here till the middle of February, you can see we had a nice, incline movement. We call this, taking the stairs up, kind of like this, all right? But then once you start breaking down from that trend line, you form another descending trend line like this one right here. And once we got rejected by that trend line right there, boom, we got sent down really hard. That's where the bears really took control. So we're seeing somewhat of a similar structure right here, right? This and this, this and this. Okay, so I don't see why from here today we don't start breaking down going into the weekend, because remember the weekend has monthly candle closing. And the monthly is going to be really interesting because I think with the kind of volatility that we're seeing in the equity markets, as well as crypto, I would not be surprised if this is the top. And just so you guys know, my history of calling the tops has been pretty spot on. I wanted to show you guys a video. Let me see over here. This is from September 2018. Okay, September 2018, I did this video. So where was price in September 2018? Let's check that out. Way the heck back here. Okay, so way the heck back here, when we were looking at this price movement right here, I think I was one of the few people, and again, I don't want to sound like I called, the exact top and I knew exactly this was going to break down. It was just so obvious to me that this was a descending triangle, which again is bearish when you keep ping-ponging right at the bottom of this base right here. And then once we finally broke down, that was it. This was the descending triangle right here, actually showing its true colors and saying, all right, well, all the absorption of buyers has been done. There's too many sellers in the market. And boom, you had a big drop. And again, you could see way back here, September 10th, 2018, I stated 3,000 to 5,000 area, that would be my target to the downside. All right. So, this is one of the occasions where I called, quote unquote, this thing that is going to break down further. The second occasion where I called the price to break down was another descending triangle here in September 9th, 2019. Okay. So in this area, all right, so let's go check that out again. Where's that chart? So here's that area. This is kind of like this. Again, same thing, right? Another big descending triangle right about there, okay? Right there, September 9, 2019. So there are two big descending triangles. And if you know anything about descending triangles, when they're at the top like this, more often than not, these are bearish, okay? This is bearish descending triangle number 2. This was number 1 back in 2018. People did not want to believe me, but again, if you look back on my analysis, go watch my videos, talk to community members who have been around long enough, even in this chat, you'll know that I called these as, clear breakdowns to the downside. Now, guess what is happening now? All right. So very, very similar structure, in my opinion. While everyone is focused on thinking that this might be a pennant that's developing, kind of like that, while everyone is busy thinking that, okay, guess what I'm seeing? Again, another potential descending triangle, kind of like this, okay? That's what I'm seeing. And I think this development of the descending triangle is probably going to play out to somewhere around middle of June, maybe end of June, and then we start seeing our breakdown. Because I personally think that this whole grayscale thing right here, as well as what's happening in the CME futures, where net exposure of short is actually increasing, and then retail is typically long right now, and they keep perpetually going long. I think it's a perfect recipe for disaster, because then you get to set up a big pattern like this, which is going to ultimately require a lot of distribution up here. Because remember, if there were professionals who bought down here, and Grayscale is also buying a good amount of supply, more than likely they're going to distribute some of that and take profit up here in this big descending potential triangle. So this is kind of what I'm seeing is the last two descending triangles I showed you, this might be somewhat kind of like that. And eventually what you want to see is lower and lower highs right here, and then eventually like a flattening, and then you start breaking down. That's when you might see a descending triangle, maybe sometime end of the month of June, maybe beginning of July. I don't quite know exactly when that's going to happen, but that's kind of how I'm looking at this particular pattern, because it is almost eerily reminiscent of what happened over here. And I'll be honest, when price was over here, folks, I actually thought that this thing was looking like maybe, you know, a descending parallel channel. This was going to break up. But once prices start to roll over, it became much more apparently clear. This looks like a larger descending triangle structure that's being created. Not all descending triangles are clean, where they look like this and they look like this and price perfectly. You know, it goes up like this, hits the top, comes to the bottom, hits the top, comes to the bottom, hits the top, comes to the bottom. It's never that clear. You see volatility in something like that when you have, you know, your bottom base right there, your top resistance trend line. Actually, we can even, you know, create a trend line kind of like this, right? You could see the trend line wasn't really that clear. Sometimes, you know, the price goes up like this, comes back, I'm sorry, goes up like this, comes back, goes up, pokes past the descending trend line, the bottom trend line right there, pokes past it again, goes up again violently, looks like it's piercing out of the trend line, but again reverses, and then puts in another lower high, and then boom. But what you want to pay attention to is that these kinds of patterns are possible, and Bitcoin has shown time and time again that it will repeat these, okay? And it does them very well. It does them very well. People don't like descending triangles because they don't know how to trade them. But here's the thing, in our community, we've gotten these right 2 out of 2 times. I know many traders out there who kept saying back in 2019, when this was developing, that this was going to break up even from here. I know traders from 2018 when they said, from here, we're going to consolidate and then keep breaking up. It's because these people have not traded long enough to understand when the market tops out with high volume and high volatility up at a specific area. That means there's bigger traders getting out of their positions. This is not a consolidation to push up. It's a consolidation to distribute, to sell asset to retailers. So this is the, you know, bigger misconception that a lot of people have, is when you see, like I stated before, price going up all the way over here, but the volume declining, and then you see this big volume come in literally at the top. That is not a sign of more, you know, potential upside to come. That's more of a sign of a distribution that's happening. So you want to be careful at thinking that, okay, well, from here, we're just going to keep breezing on up. It might be a bigger descending triangle that's playing out, and you are about to be trapped. Okay, you're going to be trapped if you keep buying anywhere near these tops. Now, alternatively, okay, you could play these on swing, well, not swing, but like intraday plays. You could buy the bottom right here and sell right near the trend line, right? That's a quick scalp or intraday scalp or whatever that you can, you know, get quick in and out of longs. Or you can short near this trend line and sell near the bottom of this descending triangle area down here. So a couple different ways to play that. It doesn't always have to be, you know, like my swing position. I see this as a swing position that I've taken in the market. I'm not going to let this go until either I'm invalidated above 10,000 or 10,100, or we start breaking down heavily towards $6,000, $5,000, or maybe even $2,400, which is my big target. All right. Let's see some questions here. Let me see. We can swap all USDT to USDC, but which coin should we invest? Well, I can't give you financial advice, but again, we do trade heavily in our community, and if you look at the title today, it's 50% discount off. Come hang out with us, come trade with us, and you will get this kind of analysis that you're seeing in video right now every single day. All the locked channels that you see right here are for the Advantage members. We put out daily trade setups, we put out daily analysis, morning videos, evening videos, all kinds of information for our Advantage members. So come join, give us a shot. It's $50 for a month, right? $50 to learn how we look at the markets, how day traders trade the markets, how we look at the macro perspective on the markets, whether it's crypto or equities or even Forex. Okay. Let me see here. What's the other question? Does the size of the wedges, highs, and lows make any difference here? Yeah, so that's a great question, Spit Out. And here's the thing, right? When it comes to triangles, okay, the measurement, of course, matters. Because when it comes to triangles, you're measuring, let's just say this was the high and this was the low, right, over here. If we start breaking down, let's just say, over here, the breakdown from here down would be about $6,800 as a target. That's just this triangle target, by the way, okay? We had a breakdown from this particular area, which was this key triangle way the heck back here. Let me go back here again, right? So this big triangle that we had, okay? So from this high to this low right there, right? We broke down from there, okay? And that triangle target should have been about $4,600. Obviously, we know that we broke down, pushed up, but then again broke down further, pushed up again, and then that final target came true, many, many months later, right? I mean, because this triangle broke down September, the actual target came out in about March. Now, I don't personally think that this triangle target can be attributed to this move right here. That's a little bit too far-fetched, in my opinion. But I do believe that, the triangle breaking down gave us a decent move to the downside right back into this previous consolidation. And all you had to do was close out your short in this area, which, by the way, we actually traded some of this. And then we didn't trade this long move, I'll be honest, but we did short this thing on the way down. Again, you can ask any of our members how we trade on a day-to-day basis, okay? We are not your average community where, we flip long to short on a, minute basis. We don't scalp the market as much because remember, scalping is very, very tough to do unless you are using a bot or an algo, or you just have incredible lightning speed to beat the bots and algos that are out there. It's very difficult to actually beat the bots and algos. So it's best to look at, maybe at least 2 to 4 hour timeframes, dailies, or even weeklies or 3-day timeframes. That's when you get to understand what the trend of a market is. Trending up, right? From here, consolidation, trending down, up, and then down again. You want to be able to identify these kinds of movements up and down. This way, okay, that, well, wait a second, if key trend lines are being broken, where is my invalidation and where should I go short? That's it. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. Right? If you're following a trend for multiple months, that trend finally breaks, something is going to come out of it. The bears are going to try to pressure, into regaining control and shoving down the prices. It's pretty clear, right? I mean, it's also kind of common sense, You can only pressure the bears so long into losing positions in their shorts, or you can only keep driving the price up until it hits a brick wall. And then you see a wave of sellers stepping into the market and saying, all right, we'll take it from here. We're in charge in terms of the selling. Okay. Spit Out is asking, thanks for that, really clear. Is the Discord a monthly subscription? Yeah, Discord is a monthly subscription, but right now we're only doing a 1 month trial for people who have not joined. So again, 50% discount for new members, only new members. It'll be $50 versus the typical $100 you pay. The reason why I want to do this is because we're rebranding. You know, I've been rebranding for the last month. We're getting our website ready. We're getting everything ready for the next, second half of the year. And I really want more and more members to join our community to see the kind of value that we provide. So this is why we did a 50% discount, and it's only for the first month. My confidence is that you will love our community so much that you will be happy to pay $100 a month. I'm putting my name on the line, Fassel's name on the line, to show that after you try out the $50, you'll realize, okay, I don't mind even paying $100 for this, for the amount of value that you get. Okay, because think about it. Every morning, we do a Bitcoin analysis for our Advantage members, trade setups every single day or whenever the market actually gives us an opportunity. Fassel himself gives equities analysis updates every single day, exactly what he's seeing on the market in the stock market side. And then he puts out the stock of the day. He puts out top growth stocks that he's watching and trading. I mean, you can even see our gains reviews right up here, folks. These are all the people who have been trading with us, right? Look at this. Look at all of the gains reviews. XLF, which is a stock market financials ETF. Okay. Even over here, RTX, same thing, another option. Here's another member who is posting about our trade for Bitcoin. Here's another member who is talking about our trade. Another member who is talking about the XLF option call, which is in stocks. Here's another member who is talking about, joining the Advantage membership and seeing our benefits, right? So these reviews are there for you to look at and see what kind of people are joining our community. Are these just people who just want buy and sell signals, or are these real people who actually want to understand that, okay, well, how do I trade? How do I get in and out of the market? Where can I actually realize some potential for a trade setup for a short position or a long position, that kind of information. Okay. So this is the kind of information that you get in the Advantage side, and you get to try this again, like I said, for 50% off, $50 versus the regular $100. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the analysis, right? So we talk about the smaller time frame still showing us that we are still in a larger period of consolidation, but I still believe that this larger consolidation is potentially more bearish than it is bullish. Now, here's another way to look at the market, okay? So let's go to the weekly time frame. And if you guys are people who have followed the Ichimoku cloud, here's the Ichimoku cloud right here. Here's what it's showing you right now. We're getting rejected right at the bottom side of the cloud on a weekly time frame. On a weekly time frame, the cloud is actually rejecting us. And you can even see, just today's or this week's candle wicked right into the cloud and we pushed down. So if by the end of the week, we start closing lower and lower, high chance that maybe starting next week or the week after, we start, maybe pushing down a little bit more. Okay. So these are the things that you want to pay attention to. What's happening over here on a daily time frame, on a weekly time frame. Okay. So, here's the thing, right? We have a good amount of information that we put out on a daily basis and show you guys both sides of the market. Okay. We want to show you guys, exactly what we're doing in the community. And we want to show you guys how we trade in the market on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So let's dial out. Let me see here. What else do we need to talk about? All right. Johnny B says he was a member and unfortunately he lost some BTC. Few winning trades that I had were my own. I've been bearish for weeks. I get it. But let me see here. He's been longing and you can learn stuff for sure. And it was interesting to see my approach in actual trades. I had 2 months free due to no job to coronavirus. after 2 months, just losing or break even trades. By the way, there is a gain section, the Discord, but no loss section. They actively tell you if you get a winning trade to report it, but say nothing about your losses. I mean, you could talk about your losses, you know, it's not a big deal. Um, let me see here. But hey, I actually talk about my own losses. What are you talking about? That's not really fair, because I actually talk about my own losses, you know, whether it's over here, right? Let me see here. Let me see. Here's my loss right there. All right. Let me see here. Where's profit, 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 profit. Okay, where the heck are my losses? I know there's another loss, right? So yeah, I mean, we talk about the losses. I wouldn't really say that's fair. But yeah, I mean, listen. Oh, of course, any community is going to have a section that dedicates, you know, to winning traders actually, you know, making money, or winning traders actually doing well, right? But if you want to talk about your losses, I already talk about them. My trades are about, you know, showing you guys profit and losses. So in these losing trades, maybe there's a chance that, you know, losing that the other members who got into these trades also lost money too, right? But again, I always tell people that you can do your own analysis and research, folks. You're more than free to take the other side of the trade. The reason you're watching my videos, the reason you're looking at my analysis, is because you want to gain an understanding of how I do it on a day-to-day basis. There is no possible way that there is not a single community or person out there that has not lost trades. At least I show you exactly the position I'm taking every single day, right? My screenshots are right there of my position, whether it's that market, whether it's the options market. You know, you can see here's an 18% win right here in the options market, but here's another loss. I want to show you my loss. Here's a negative 5% loss. Here's a 21% win. Here's a, let me see here. I know there's another loss up here. Here's a negative 79% loss in this option. Okay, but then here's also another win right here, 360% gain. So again, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say it's fair. I mean, listen, I understand you're more than free to criticize me. I'm not saying that I'm the perfect person in the market and every single trade you're going to get from me is a winning trade, but I promise you that the one thing that I will give you is honesty and how I see the market. Okay. And I'll show you guys exactly how I trade the market. Because remember, the one thing I'll tell you is that I trade this market to actually make money. You guys know me for a long time. I've moved from Texas to Florida to Colombia, and I showed you guys that this is on me trading after 11 years and then finally seeing success in the market, of me realizing, okay, now I can finally day trade, and I understand that, you know, I don't really have emotions when it comes to the market. I've had days where I've lost 50,000 in a day, or, you know, in a week. I've had days where I've, you know, gained about 100,000 in a week. Okay. So it doesn't matter, you know, if the community itself is not showing you exactly what the wins or losses are. I am showing you as a community leader that I'm showing you that I'm losing trades. Vassal himself shows you that he's, you know, lost trades, right? Let me see here. I think, you know, even over in this section, where was it? Somewhere over here, he had written an update just a couple days ago where he pulled out of his positions, but then the market kept running up. And so this is what I mean is, you will not be able to get the top or the bottom. You're not always going to get into profit, but the best we can do is show you guys exactly how we trade the market on a day-to-day basis, of how we take long positions and short positions, how we get in and out of the market in terms of swings or scalps, shorts or longs, whatever. Okay, so let's get back to the analysis. Let me see thoughts on XLM when you get a moment. Okay, so let's check out XLM. Oh, by the way, here's our FX trade. Okay, again, I want to show you guys this real quick, right? Here's my FX trade just this morning. I showed you guys that I added more. My average is 1.1122 for my short position on the euro dollar. Okay, here's my euro dollar trade. All right, From here downward up about negative 0.32%. So 0.32% we're up, okay? And this is our short trade, remember. So we're doing a pretty good job in other markets too. I think the difference is that, when I'm losing in one market, I'll quickly just hop over to another market and see if I can make money. In any given day or week, I'm trading every single market, folks. I think you guys very well know that. Me and myself and Fassel, we put out the daily updates every single day to show you exactly what we're trading. We're not like your average crypto Twitter person who's just talking about analyzing the market, not doing shit with it. We're actually trading. Our income depends on how we take trades. Okay? Trust me, we're not making a lot of money when it comes to getting money from these memberships. Really, we're not. Okay. So anyway, Johnny B, listen, I'm very happy you expressed your opinion. Please do message me and see how I can maybe fix that, or give you another discount on our membership if you do want to come join. Maybe we can have a private discussion about that. I do want to help fix that, right? Listen, I want to get to becoming a better and better trader every day. But when it comes to the markets, you guys got to realize that not every single trade can be a winning trade. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. Some of the best traders we know are in losing trades. Ray Dalio's firm, Bridgewater Associates, is down negative 21%. Negative 21%. That's like, I think they have a AUM of $159 billion. So that means they're down close to about $30 billion on their entire portfolio right now. So, don't tell me that you're not going to have losing trades in the market. You definitely will. The only way you can actually be successful in this market is to manage your risk. You got to manage your risk. You got to size your positions properly. I cannot help you if you don't understand those basic, fundamental things. So here's the thing. So I'm going to give you guys a perfect example. Okay. So in this short trade right here, right, I've got a total 9% risk. Now that is very high when it comes to my swing short position. But here's another thing. In the long-term channel, I've stated before at the top in February, I stated that I'm closing out a majority of my positions in crypto. I'm closing out a lot of BTC. I'm closing a lot of Ethereum. I'm closing a lot of my altcoins. And so my account now reflects a much smaller size in capital terms, but a higher risk size in terms of that capital. So let's just say I had $100,000 on the line in this short trade. If I get stopped out, and let's just say the price runs up to 10,100, that means of that 100,000, I'll lose 9%. That's $9,000 I will lose. Alternatively, if the price goes down and starts hitting my 6,000 or my 4,000 or $3,000 targets, I will get a significant amount more BTC. The dollar amount will be down, okay? But again, my BTC overall, due to my reduced capital, will actually more than cover the compensation of my position size, okay? So you got to understand, this is why I state everything that is humanly possible when it comes to the position. Aside from showing you how big my position is, I'm showing you everything. I'm showing you the total risk I'm taking. I'm showing you the average entry. I'm showing you the stop. I'm showing you the reasoning on a day-to-day basis of exactly why I'm entering positions. I'm showing you exactly what our target profits are. I'm giving you daily updates on our position. So I don't know how much more I can do, right? At some point, you guys have to be able to understand how to manage your risk. And then you will be able to see how you can gain profit consistently. Okay. So with that being said, I am still short, and I still do believe that the market is going to head down lower for the reasons I've stated before. On top of that, we talked about this thing, right? We talked about the 1 week Ichimoku cloud getting rejected right there. Okay. We talked about how open interest is rising, yet, prices continuously dropping, creating lower highs. We talked about the hash rate, right? We talked about how, let me look at it on the daily time frame. We talked about how this capitulation now for miners is starting. So there are many reasons where you can see why I'm bearish, right? I get it. I get that, right now it may not be the most popular thing to be bearish because prices ran up so much, but I've stated my reasonings, right? I showed you guys the big descending triangles. I showed you guys, even if Grayscale is talking about them buying, do you think that it's really that obvious? They're going to put out a signal out there like, hey guys, we're buying, buy into Bitcoin now, and we're just going to go to the moon together. I mean, you got to ask yourself like some common sense questions. Do I really think that's the case? That Grayscale is going to literally tell me like, hey, buy now, you're going to make, 10x or 5x or 100x, whatever. It's not that easy, guys. The days of 2017 are gone. The days of 2017 where all you had to do was literally put your money into anything and it would, give you 20% or 50% or 100% in the next week or a month, those days are gone. And with the environment that we're in right now, when it comes to looking at the way Bitcoin itself, as well as altcoins themselves, are still looking like they're a bubble, you will get a once in a lifetime unique opportunity to maybe buy down here when the fear is really, really unreal. Like $3,000 or $2,000 or $1,500, those targets that I told you guys about. I mean, I still think Bitcoin is a good buy then. I still think we can get to 2,400 bucks. Okay. I still think that it's possible that we might get to 1,500. 1,500 is a little bit out of the, just a little bit too far down for my comfortability. But $2,400, because we're looking at it from a weekly time frame, and you turn on the pivots right here, right? If you turn on the pivot right there, let me see. Where's the pivot? So here's the pivots, right? I told you guys, if we actually break below this pivot right here around 81.59, more than likely, okay, there's a high chance that we might get down towards this S1. And what is that going to do? It's going to destroy these people who bought in right here. It's definitely going to destroy these people who bought in right here. This was going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity, in my opinion, if you get an opportunity to buy S1. Again, I'm not telling you guys to buy or sell, not investment advice, but this is what I'm going to be doing if we start seeing this breakdown from here. So if you're talking about, okay, well, I believe that Bitcoin is just going to go straight up from here. Well, I don't really see that many reasons why. We're already in a very charged political climate and an economic climate where we don't have that much free-flowing liquidity, nor are we in a risk-on environment where things like Bitcoin can keep going up. At least that's my opinion. Okay. So, personally, I still think that Bitcoin is going to make potentially another low. I don't know if it's going to be a higher low or another lower low, like down here, but I still think that Bitcoin is going to start rolling over. Now, that could be because of that big descending triangle that I was telling you guys about, right? Where's that descending triangle? Like this, right? That big descending triangle. So if this descending triangle comes out, okay, it's possible that we might start seeing acceleration down. Like I said, from this high to this low, the target profit for the descending triangle is at least $6,800. Okay. XLM. Okay, so now let's get to XLM. Matthew, I'm so sorry, man. I know I missed your question last time too, but I'm definitely going to cover it today for you. Okay. So let me get to XLM BTC first, and then we'll look at XLM USD as well. Okay. All right. So one thing I got to tell you guys is there's like something on my Twitter just a couple hours ago. Oh, actually, this guy right here. I don't know who this person is, but he popped up on my Twitter feed. Okay. This is still a very prevalent thing in crypto. Everybody thinks that, they're going to buy these altcoins like Cardano and XLM and all these random altcoins. And these are just going to start popping up like they did in 2017, where they made, 2x or 5x, 10x, whatever. I just don't think that's the case. But that's, my opinion. Okay. I could be totally wrong. I just don't see why Bitcoin, okay, or crypto itself can be coming off its 2017 highs and then putting in all-time highs again when they haven't really changed anything in terms of their business, right? I mean, have you heard XLM, improving drastically where they've gotten partnerships where they're making a significant amount of revenue? I just don't think so, right? I haven't heard anything from Ethereum. I haven't heard anything why Litecoin is even worth what it is. I haven't heard anything from Bcash. I haven't heard anything from a lot of these projects. Okay. But if you're purely thinking of it from like a 5 or 10-year perspective, like, okay, well, XLM could be something great. Okay, then yeah, I mean, maybe this is, your opportunity to quote unquote get in at the bottom. Do I think that's the case? I don't think so. Remember, the floor for some of these cryptos, guys, is zero. Zero is the floor, not this. Look, we had this low right here, right around, I think this was like the ICO or whatever, and the prices pushed up almost like 5x or 10x. This is in early 2017. And now we're sitting at that same floor for the last 6 or 9 months right here. Again, this is only seen on the perspective of a weekly. If you go into an hourly, right? I mean, yeah, things look great. Oh my God, so much volatility, and I made 10% here, or I shorted it here and I got 10% down here. But if you look at the bigger trends in some of these altcoins, it's absolute garbage. I don't even know why some of these things are worth anything more than zero. They have no company that's actually making anything. They have no customers. They have no revenue. They have no profit streams, right? So you got to ask yourself, like, common sense perspective, like, come on, should these companies be actually worth something or anything at all, right? So you're not going to get the kind of, hyped up discussion about crypto and buy this and you're going to get 10x or 5x. I've been doing this for about 11 years, guys. One thing I could tell you is this is a marathon. If you want to be in the trading and investing game, it is an absolute marathon that only the runners who want to run this for the long haul will win. The day traders, the intraday speculators, the scalpers, they will not win. They'll give up all their money to the market and probably more. And so when it comes to XLM, right, if you think that you believe in this product for the long term, this is a fantastic buy opportunity. Again, I don't know that much about the project. I've researched it a good amount. I think it's going to be one of the projects that could do well. But we also thought that, there were these hundreds of projects back in 2017 that could have been doing well. Now they're garbage. They're literally closer to zero or down 90, 95% from all-time highs. And that's okay to accept and say that, all right, well, I was wrong about that. But do you want to keep making that mistake again? So I have not really traded alts that much. If I trade alts, here's what I'm doing. I'm looking for 4-hour or daily time frame breakouts, and I'm looking to get in and out of ranges. So if you were looking at XLM simply from the standpoint of ranges, maybe this could be kind of your range right here, something like that. So if you get an opportunity to buy down here, you could sell at the EQ right there or up here at the range high. If you get an opportunity to short up here, you could sell at the EQ right here or at the range low. There's no other way to sort of play this. This is a mess. This is a mess for the last 6 or 9 months. Chop, 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 up and down, chop, chop, chop. That's it. That's all it's doing. So you either play the range or you play it for the long haul, right? So either you believe in the instrument itself or the company itself, or you want to play the range itself. There's no, well, if I buy here, it might break out tomorrow. No, it could break out next month or next year. You don't know. Until it's in a range, you trade the range, okay? But for the most part, I think a lot of cryptos are garbage. I really do believe that crypto is no different than the dot-com bubble. Okay, in the dot-com bubble, there were hundreds and thousands of companies that were valued at millions and billions of dollars that were pushed up to unforeseen heights And then they came crashing down, going to zero, going bankrupt, losing investors millions and millions of dollars. Crypto's the same thing. It's still, in my opinion, a bubble that's waiting to pop. But do I think Bitcoin is also in a bubble? Partially. I think it's partially in a bubble, but I don't think we're too far away from bringing it down to a good intrinsic value, and then potentially, the long haul buyers are going to benefit from that, in the next 2, 3, 5 year time horizon. Those are my thoughts on crypto. Okay, those are my thoughts on Bitcoin. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now is, I still think that crypto overall is overvalued. I think BTC is probably the one asset that if it does come down to the levels I've talked about, which is $2,400, or, that I talked about this level right here, which is about 1,300 or so, right? Way the heck down here. Where is it? Way the heck down here, right? 1,300. Because that's the previous high in November 2013. So if we come down here to November 2013, that basically turns this previous area of resistance into support. Now, I'm not saying that, okay, well, all SR levels need to be flipped, support into resistance, resistance into support. But I've also got this theory, which I've explained before, which is that if you start looking at this on an hourly time frame, there's different phases of Bitcoin investors. There's the phase one early adopters way back from 2011 all the way to about 2012, 2013. Phase two, which are, the revolutionaries and the builders who helped build Coinbase and Kraken, and they helped build the Lightning Network, and they helped bring out more developers. They help, get connections to other supermarkets or other vending machines, or, people around the world to accept Bitcoin or had Bitcoin ATMs built. And then there's the phase three speculators and traders. These people don't really care about the success of Bitcoin. In large part, they're only in it to only see the price going up. That's all they care about. And so if they don't see the price continuously going up, then they give up on the product. So these are the people you want to weed out of the market. Once you weed out these people from the market, okay, then and only then you can make that big move to the upside. Because phase two and phase one people are not going to sell if prices come down to 1,300 because they're still in profit. They also see the value of Bitcoin. But anyone who bought here or here or here or even up here or even down here, they're going to be in deep underwater, right? So if you bought where price is right now from here down to 1,300, that's another 87% drop. Let's just say you caught the bottom of 3,600. That's another, 60, 70% drop. So you can see it's a very dangerous area to get caught up in this phase three. So unless you actually understand that, there are different phases in the market and price could potentially break down from here and then further push up, you're not accepting the reality of what the market is actually showing you and potentially doing in terms of the max amount of pain. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see if there's any more questions. See what's going on. Let's see. What's another question that we have? Can't buy bread with it. That's so true. Let me see here. AM asks, appreciate your work. Oh, thank you. Wondering if price wicks close above 9,900-ish. Do you think that we were looking at an ascending triangle? I'm not sure about an ascending, maybe a symmetrical triangle. But yeah, I think that if we start seeing, let me see. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. So if we start seeing price kind of developing like this, and we start pushing up out of this descending trend line, like 9,900 or 10,000, then I'd say, okay, well, maybe we're going to start pushing up from here. But until then, I still think that, from here, we could just start reversing down. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions. By the way, again, just announce we have that 50% off discount membership, folks. Do come join. You can message me right here. Okay. You could pay with crypto. You could pay with PayPal. And it's only a one-time payment. It's only for 1 month. It's only for people who actually just want to try out our membership, because I'm more than confident that after you try out our membership for $50 or 50% off, you're going to want to join the full, the full price membership. Okay. I have that much confidence in our community to bring you on board, for a discount for a month at 50%. But then after, I'm sure you're going to want to join at $100, because we have so much content in our community on a day-to-day basis that you will absolutely enjoy the amount of information that you have at your fingertips. So the question is, AM is asking, could this be ascending triangle? I don't know about ascending, but it could be a symmetrical. And if we see a symmetrical triangle break up, okay. Also, I've stated this before, all you do is measure from this top to this bottom, the broadest part. And let's just say you break out, into the weekend, right? So tomorrow, the day after, okay, the triangle target up here would be about $11,700. Okay, it'd be about $11,700. Another reason why I've talked about BTC, the CME futures contracts, is because of the gaps that we often see, right? So over here, I think we had a gap just a couple of days ago. What was it, like this gap right here? And we closed that, right? We pushed up some more. So when it comes to the CME futures contracts, there's kind of really no reason for the price to keep continuously going up from here. It's very possible that we start breaking down from here. Even on the CME, you could see something like this developing. Like I said, a descending triangle, right? Touch at the bottom, touch at the top, bottom, lower high, bottom, lower high. Okay. And you typically want to see the volume kind of consolidate like that. And when you start seeing the breakdown from here, this is where you start seeing acceleration of volume. That's what you want to see. Acceleration of volume increasing on the way down confirms that this is a descending triangle. Okay. Let's see. Link is another one. So I've been paying attention to Link. The only reason I pay attention to Link is because other smart people are paying attention to it. So I listen to this woman. Her name is Meltem Demirs. She runs an awesome podcast, which you guys should check out. She actually, told me about Link, I think last year, a year and a half ago or something. And so I've been paying attention to Link. I don't own any right now, but I had some back here in my long-term. So these are the channels where I post exactly what long-term positions I'm taking. And I had, XTZ, Link, Nebulous, I had Nexo, I had Ethereum, Bitcoin. I had a bunch of, other shit coins too. I sold everything on February 12th right there. The reason I sold everything is because, again, what I've told you guys before, just reading basic, market sentiment and understanding the basics of how hyped up people are in any given day or any given week. And I just felt that up here in February, we were just way too hyped. I think everyone was talking about Bitcoin's going to go to, 13,000, 15,000. Ethereum's going to go up to $300 or $400. It was just too much for me. And, I just had to get out. I was like, all right, this is probably the top. As soon as you start hearing people start talking about that, of too much euphoria, it's probably the top. Even if it's not the top, it's pretty close to it. Okay. Just like in 2017, right? I'm sure you guys heard, your Uber driver, your barber, your doctor, your dentist, any person you randomly meet on the street, your friends that you never heard from, talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum going up, giving them 20% in a day, 50% in a week or a month, all that kind of stuff that you heard in 2017. Those people are gone. They either sold or, they're pretty much willing to sell at some point at break even, which they'll probably never get. or not never, but at least not anytime soon. And so once price starts breaking down towards 3,000 or 2,000, that's the final nail in the coffin. That's it. There's not going to be any more. There's not going to be any more. Holding or hodling, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, listen, guys. This is the kind of analysis that we do. We have, like I said, this descending triangle that was being built up. On the 12-hour, I still see that kind of descending triangle that's being created right here. In my opinion, I think the volume matches too, which I hadn't been paying attention to, but the volume does kind of match. Like you want to see descending volume in this descending triangle all the way towards the apex, which is down here. And then you want to see acceleration of volume out of this triangle. So what you want to see is this kind of going like this, boom, whoops, not like that. Like this, like this, like this. And then eventually what happens is you get lower and lower volatility and you flatline, and then boom. And this is where you want to see an increase in volume right there as prices go down. Okay. But you guys know, I'm short on Bitcoin. This is like, in my opinion, the most free trade, visible trade that you've seen me put out over the last several weeks. And if you think that I'm going to be wrong, counter trade me. If you think that I'm going to be wrong, call me dumb on Twitter or, do anything like that. There's plenty of people on Twitter who just say dumb stuff to me. Like there's this one guy, I think, what is it? This guy right here, right? Like, he's just commenting, how's your 9.3K short doing? And this was when yesterday prices were at 9,600. He was probably thinking, oh man, I'm going to get the breakout at 10,000. But then again, price reversed. I mean, my average into the short position is about 92.40 or 92.50. So I'm only about $180 or $190 in loss right now. Okay, but imagine buying the top at 10,000, you're down about $600. Imagine buying here and then price starts rolling over towards 8,800 or maybe even $8,500. Then you're about $1,000 in the hole. Okay. So yes, I am very visible with my information and content. If someone wants to call me dumb or an idiot, that's fine. I am going to show you exactly how I trade in the market. I'll show you my losses and I'll show you my winners. That's okay. If you want to, call me out on that, that's fine. Crypto Beat says weekend shenanigans are coming. Yes, I know. Friday's almost done. Saturday and Sunday is going to be wild, in my opinion. We got a monthly closing coming up. Equities look like they're starting to break down. Here's the thing, right? I think this whole China trade war thing with the US, I think that's probably going to escalate. It's also election year. Things are going to get very interesting. There's a lot of turmoil and instability that's happening in the US right now. I moved to Colombia partly because of the reason why, there was just, I think the environment, at least where I lived or what I was seeing in the American political system was a bit too much. But I also just wanted to travel with my wife. And like I said, I've been trading for about 11 years. I would, I want to be a little bit humble and say I'm successful enough where I can, I can travel the world and be all right because I can pick up my laptop, pick up my trading account from anywhere and make money. Okay. And the reason, people say, well, okay, if you make so much money, then why start this group? That's such a dumb question. Like what a ridiculously dumb question. Did you even know that bigger hedge funds and traders actually have newsletters and private, what's it called? Private, not groups like ours, but private communities where they discuss stuff like this. Like, have you ever heard of a Jeffries conference? These are big, big hedge fund individuals who share ideas, write newsletters, share their trade setups, everything. Real Vision is another platform that I have access and membership to. I pay $3,000 a quarter for Real Vision. Why? Because I want to hear the smartest people talk about what's happening in the world, how to trade a specific asset, how to manage your risk, how to get into this different, emerging market. See, what you need to do is empower yourself with as much knowledge as possible in the next several weeks or several months, because I personally think it's going to be a very rough rest of the year. I think for the next 12 months or 18 months, the world is probably going to go through, I wouldn't say a revolution, but more so of an epiphany of, the debt that has been created in all societies, especially Western societies. We keep printing money, we keep piling on debt. The income inequality starts, getting bigger and bigger, and yet we're not doing anything to solve that. Capitalism itself is great, but it's not solving the issues of the poor. You're exploiting the labor, right? So what you're really doing is you're perpetuating the same kind of um, income inequality, that the stark difference between the rich and the poor, and the underlying issues are getting worse and worse, and the fabric of society is getting torn up more. And I do believe that Bitcoin will probably succeed someday because of that. Okay. Because despite the world looking the way it is looking, I think Bitcoin is the one asset that people feel that is, at least for the most part, out of government's control. I don't know if it's going to succeed anytime soon, but if you look at it from a 5 or 10 year time horizon, I don't really see any other asset than Bitcoin to actually do that. Maybe Ethereum, but Ethereum is not trying to be money. It's trying to be a token for more so of a, newer technology like the smart contracts, right? It's trying to build like an ecosystem for blockchain technology. So yeah, these two are, in my opinion, the best investments. But again, consult your own financial advisor if you don't think so, right? I bet you your financial advisor doesn't even know what the fuck blockchain is. They're not going to tell you to invest in it. They're not going to know. See, institutions and professionals need to first get into the asset and heavily into it, so then they can start selling in profit on the way up to retailers as they hype it up and sell it back to their clients, sell it to other hedge funds, sell it to pension funds, sell it to other governments or retailers. Institutions and bigger funds are not going to tell you to buy the bottom because they want to buy the bottom. All right. So this is why I believe that Grayscale talking about buying all this Bitcoin, in my opinion, is not good. I don't think there's any firm out there who's going to start telling you openly that, well, this is the best time to buy. Probably what they're really doing is distributing. Probably, it's more likely that price is going to head down further back towards these lows somewhere down here, or maybe even 5,000, 6,000, or maybe even lower. It's just not that easy to think that, you can make money so easily because Grayscale is buying. It's really become kind of like a meme. It's kind of sad, to be honest. But, the fact of the matter is, people buy solely on this kind of garbage infograph. They say, well, Grayscale is buying, why shouldn't I? It's ridiculous. People don't want to do the research. They just want quick money. They want to get rich overnight. You don't want to run the marathon because the marathon is too hard. You want to run sprints. And you can't get rich by running sprints like that. Not in financial markets, I'll tell you that much. You had maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity back here in 2017, like I said. But again, those bubbles come once in a lifetime. But guess what? You may get another opportunity down here around 4,000, 3,000, or 2,000. Okay? It is very possible that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you may get that up move back towards 20,000. Because remember, if you buy at 3,000 or 2,000, back towards 20,000, which was the all-time high, is still close to about anywhere between a 6x and a 10x gain. That's an amazing return. For a 5-year investment, that's an amazing return. But again, consult your financial advisor if you're so curious about it, or you don't think that this is going to be a long-term hold. If you want to trade it internally on a day-to-day basis, right? We show you guys exactly how we trade. Yeah, we might have our losers, but we also have our winners. Okay? So make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, folks. I love doing this content for you guys. And I really appreciate all the support and love that you have. Even if you have positions that you want to criticize me on, things that I've gotten wrong, I have thick skin. I have thick skin. I will let you know exactly when I'm wrong. Okay. Here's something that I'm good at, and here's something that I'm not. I'll tell you guys honestly. I'm good at calling the tops, but I suck at, catching the bottom. I'm just not good at it. Okay. I've been able to call 3 out of the last 3 tops. Well, 2 out of the last 2 tops, technically. First one being over here, this descending triangle. Again, like I showed you earlier on the video, I called this as a potential top and a movement down. I call this as a potential top and a consolidation leading to a movement down. And I'm now going on record again saying that this is probably the top right here. And it's probably going to lead to a movement down. I don't know when, probably maybe the middle of June or end of June, just depending on the way the triangle is looking right now. But that's how I'm looking at it. I have my short position. I've showed you guys, for the last several days. Here's my short position. Okay. My average is 92.30. Okay. So, this is the kind of information that you get in the Advantage community. All right. And like I said, you can get that information for 50% off if you want to come join. All right. Is there any other questions that you guys want me to answer? Apaya asks LPSY. So yeah, last point is supply. So there is somewhat of I saw, one of my friends post a Y-cost style distribution that's happening right here. I haven't quite laid it out yet. I would say maybe at this point right here, down looked like a Y-cost distribution. We push back up again. So we'll see. Maybe we're creating a larger distribution. But monthly is also coming up, right? Here's the thing about the monthly. Okay, you got to turn on the volume for this. Here's the thing. You have a huge candle right here with lesser volume, but you have an even smaller candle with higher volume. Typically what you want to see is candle size increasing like this and volume going up. That says more and more bullishness. This tells me that this was a spike up in movement, and then this was an absorption of buyers into sellers because there's so much volume going into this, right? So that means that the sellers are really holding firm and they're saying, hey, we got a lot to sell. Keep buying and buying and buying. Keep buying into our sells. Keep buying into our sells. That's why you get so much volume, but with such a small candle. So this to me is not a good looking monthly candle. All right. Let's see. The last thing I talked about was the production costs, right? I mean, there's this production cost indicator that you look at. You could go look it up on Medium, read this article by Charles Edwards, a fantastic writer. And he wrote this phenomenal article about how Bitcoin's production costs dictate how, the market itself is pricing in how the miners are doing. So the production costs right now, the total production costs for the average miner for Bitcoin are around $15,800. Currently prices around $94.23. So a majority of miners are at a loss. Not only that, miners are now getting rewarded less because we just had the halving. Prior to May 11th, miners were getting rewarded 12.5 Bitcoin. Now they're getting rewarded 6.25 Bitcoin. So not only are they already mining at a loss, but they're now getting less and less rewards. So because miners hold a lot of supply, they may have to keep selling just to be able to break even. And they may keep selling, especially once price keeps going down and down and down. So that accelerates the movement down. Johnny B says, if BTC does actually go to 1,000 or 2,500, is it really a good investment? I mean, how does it survive? Miners, etc. Okay, so that's a great point. Okay, the one thing that Satoshi even talked about, right? This is Satoshi's quote right here, okay? The price of any commodity tends to gravitate towards the production cost. If the price is below cost, then production slows down. If the price is above cost, price can be made by generating and selling more. At the same time, the increased production would increase difficulty, pushing the cost generating towards the price. So what he's effectively saying is that if there are more and more miners interested, right, the price of production and the hash rate will probably go up. Because the hash rate will ultimately dictate how much energy, electricity, what kind of equipment you need to actually mine the Bitcoin. But if there's less and less miners and the hash rate keeps going down, so this is the raw hash rate right here. Okay, here's the raw hash rate right there. This yellow line that you see, the raw hash rate actually went up a little bit. What you want it to do, okay, is the raw hash rate, all right, you want it to go up further and further. So this becomes a little bit easier for, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Okay, what indicator is this? This is called the hash ribbons, by the way. Hash ribbons. Okay, so if it gets difficult for the miners right now, those who are already mining at a loss, okay, they cannot afford to keep mining. And if the hash rate gets up higher and higher, it's more and more difficult for those same miners because it takes up more electricity, more processing power. But as the hash rate goes down, okay, that means that the miners who are already making good amount of profit, even at current prices, because their electricity costs are down, because they have a lot more money to keep mining with large, industrial size warehouses of mining, for them, it's not that big of a loss because they mine in size. So if they're mining in size, the smaller miners are going to get pushed out of the market. And when they close down shop, all right, price could keep going down, but the bigger miners will still be in profit. So it's never really like all right, well, if price keeps going down, miners are going to get pushed out of the market. Remember, there's always going to be people around the world who are mining Bitcoin at a much cheaper price than the average price. I know Iceland is one place that is very, very cheap to mine Bitcoin. I know, and that's because of the electricity costs. I know Texas is also a cheap place, right? So you have to look at these places as maybe the future dominators who can keep mining Bitcoin, even if the price of Bitcoin keeps going down, because they may look at it as, well, it's already cheap for us to mine Bitcoin because our electricity is low. But once the price keeps going back up, let's just say in the next 3 or 4 years or 5 years, then they make a significant amount of money in terms of their return on investment. All right. Okay, folks. Well, that's pretty much it. Hit the thumbs up if you guys like my content. I'd really appreciate it. I love doing free content for you guys, but I also want to build my community and my business. I want to hire more analysts. I've been doing a lot of work in the community to show you guys we have this 50% discount. Again, it's only $50 versus the $100. And I'm confident that once you join, you will want to stay and you'll want to pay that $100. But I want you guys to try this out. All the lock channels that you see right here, okay? All the lock channels are for Advantage members only. We have equities updates. We have equities trade setups, Forex and commodities updates. I showed you guys this Forex trade, right? My average for my euro dollar short is 1.1122. Here's the euro dollar short that I gave out to my community yesterday. All right, so here's how that's doing, right? So average entry right there, sitting in some decent profit right now. We'll see how that goes, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy my content. Hit the thumbs up and come join the Advantage community. Shoot me a message once you join if you want to take advantage of the 50% discount. All right, that's it. Cheers, and thank you for watching. Until then, take care, have a good weekend, and I'll catch y'all next week. Cheers.